All right. Can you hear me? I think we're just gonna forego an intro tonight. It says press conference imminent. SWAT scene press conference imminent. So we're gonna do that first, and then God knows. Let me see here.
About, as you mentioned, maybe an hour, 10 minutes ago or so, we had learned about News Nation, this SWAT operation taking place in Tucson, about 2 miles or so
Loud and
near
clear.
the home of Nancy Guthrie,
What's up, everybody?
folks, who has
Please hit
been
that
missing
like button
for
on the way in.
13 days now. I do know just from looking at News Nation's feeds that they are currently waiting for the Pima County Sheriff's Office PIO, who is going to be coming to the scene, supposedly, or assumingly, for this press conference. And as we mentioned, there these forensics vehicles are leaving the scene here. From what I understand, it looks like there was a SWAT convergence on a home near the
Well,
Guthrie neighborhood, and two
that's not what I
individuals were
heard. I
asked to
heard
come
that he came
outside of the
upon a
home.
car accident.
Both complied.
So
Law enforcement was then
I've seen that
searching
in
the
tons of
residence,
chats. So let's not get that going
and
on
then
here.
at least I've seen at least one report
Hello.
that somebody has been detained. Now, I don't know if that is confirmed yet or not. We're still looking for that information, but that is currently what we're seeing.
Yeah, Garrett. I also heard of a
Yep.
traffic
Press
stop. It
conference
all
right here.
happened around the same time. Again, gonna get these reports to confirm, but potentially that was a vehicle leaving this scene around the same time that
And that's the video you're seeing here on the right side
Yeah.
of the screen.
So what I'd like to do is I'm going to pause the traffic stop video. See if we can pause it right here and try to make out what we're looking at. You see a white van. This is clearly at a distance. You see a white van, and then you see on the right side, you
Go away.
see what appears to be multiple Pima County sheriff's vehicles. Now, how the two scenes are connected, that remains unclear because we have the traffic stop at one location, clearly right here outside of this Culver's. And then we also then have the situation where the two individuals were taken out of a house where the SWAT situation unfolded. So how A led to B, how the right side of your screen led to the left side of your screen is still unclear. Now, we have been told that a press conference will be happening. This will be the first press conference in 8 days. And this might be a significant update pertaining not just to what happened tonight, but if reporters are permitted to ask questions, we might get an update as to where the investigation stands in day 13 and in 6 minutes from now on the East Coast, entering day 14 of this investigation and the search for Nancy Guthrie. Any other observations while I have the video on the right freeze framed here and
Well,
while
the
we have
first
it
thing that
paused?
comes to my mind, JB, is there was a time earlier in the week when they had talked about a unmarked white van that they were searching for. Don't want to speculate. Don't want to say that that's what we're looking at here in this video, but obviously, clearly, there is what looks like a white van. It looks unmarked. They are right next to those officials, the Pima County Sheriff's vehicles. Could they be? Could it be the same white van they were looking for earlier in the week? Is that connected? Is that a coincidence? Could we maybe have the vehicle, the traffic stop that they're actually conducting? Could that be off to the right a little bit off screen? It's possible, but just of note, that white van stuck out to me because we know that they were looking for a vehicle that would match that description earlier.
And again, just talking about those detainments, Brian Ensign confirming a man and a woman have been detained by Pima County Sheriff at this time. Again, that coming from that house, and then we're seeing uh, this feed. Again, we talked about just
Well, do we? I'm seeing that they were taken out of the house, but let's also. Do we know if they were detained?
yeah, you know what? I'll play the audio. I'll review this clip directly from News Nation. And
right, we want to be as accurate as can be when it comes to um, the reports coming out of Arizona. And okay, so let's show everybody the different camera feeds. In fact, let's go to the secondary shot right now. So clearly, the perimeter that's been established.
They're allowing through traffic, it seems, at least on that road.
Right.
Because we just saw a car coming in from what looks like a different angle, whereas the other live shot that we have seen seems to be showing traffic leaving from the opposite direction. So they are at least allowing traffic to come through. What time is it now in Arizona?
So look, we're waiting for a
2 hours behind
press
us, so it's
conference
around
here.
almost 10 o'clock at night. So maybe it's people arriving home from a Friday night, leaving home for a Friday night.
I'm sorry. There's a woman here in this shot, and I'm trying to figure out if this is a reporter or if this is somebody who's getting ready to arrange a press briefing. Let's just I'm going to boost audio here just a little bit. All right, everybody. So we're going to quiet our mics, and I'm going to boost audio for those listening at home, especially on a TV. Be mindful. We're going to really jack up the audio here and just try to listen to the scene. Stand by.
If they will speak.
All right, so I just hear a lot of idle chatter.
Just wanted to let you know, JB, 7 minutes ago, Pima County Sheriff's Department on X, there is no press briefing scheduled for tonight regarding the Nancy Guthrie investigation. A written statement is forthcoming.
A written statement
that was tweeted out 7 minutes ago.
Yeah, wow. And people in the comment section underneath that post are asking, well, then what was the purpose of the staging area for the media?
Right. We had gotten reports less than an hour ago that there was the PIO for the Pima County Sheriff's Office on the way to the scene.
I'm not surprised either.
That normally does not happen unless you're expecting some type of press conference. But it seems that has now been walked back.
Interesting.
Not really.
So, okay, with what that could mean, that means that they're not prepared to give a full press conference tonight, and perhaps that waits until the morning, or this escalated quickly under the presumption that this was going to be something way more significant, and then upon further investigation, it turned out to be not as significant. So it's either scenario A, where it is significant and they just need time before they actually, speak in front of the camera, or scenario B, which means that this was perhaps they thought something larger, which is why the report came out that a press conference was imminent. And now, to Garrett, to use your words, they're walking it back because it's not as significant as previously realized. Let's you know what? We're going to ask our audience in the chat.
All right. So no press.
You think it's
so far
scenario A? Just put in an A or a B in the chat. I'm very curious. We'll just do an informal Facebook chat, TikTok chat, YouTube chat kind of poll. If you think it's scenario A, which is this is a big deal, but they're not ready to speak to it, put an A in the comment section. If you think that this was something that might be big, but now
I'll do my best from over here. But if anybody's putting
and they're scaling down
conjecture or BS,
I'm very curious to see,
especially I keep seeing the Joe Rogan
shout
room,
out
which is
what I'm
like
seeing more of
a UFC chat room.
as they roll.
Stupid things
We got
going on
Garrett.
all the time.
All right, we got to kill mics for 1 second. Stand by. What you got?
Okay, so Michael Ruiz of Fox News, thank you, did tweet out about 16 minutes ago. I'm told after receiving a tip, authorities have detained 2 males plus one of their mothers. However, source cautions that during a warrant execution, technically everyone is detained, quote unquote. Unclear if anyone is a suspect. So as of now, that is the most recent information. Authorities received a tip, detained 2 males and their mother, one of their mothers. But however, that was a warrant execution. So quite technically it is detained. It is unclear if they are going to be held any further than this initial questioning.
Yes, Rogan's fine. That's been going on for years. And this is WFLA.
So, and as I look here at the chat, I think it's pretty split as to whether or not people feel that this is a big deal or not a big deal.
Well, we saw those forensic trucks leaving the scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would suspect that if the forensics team was on site, even if it's just a simple DNA sample.
I believe it is.
That there is something that they maybe were able to take or extract from that scene, from the individuals that they were detaining. And maybe the idea here is that they are not ready to definitively say anything about these individuals specifically until those forensic details come back. Could that possibly be part of this?
I'm not used to seeing forensics leave so quickly. Forensics, just evidence gathering alone, just marking a scene alone takes a significant amount of time. So it's curious that, but again, just there's so much unknown here with the resources on site. Also, too, this happening at night where we have we just don't have the visibility. Keep in mind, one evolution of the media in recent years has been just about every mobile news crew now have drones. Mm-hmm. And so that's been something, interesting with this particular case is every outlet has a drone that they can quickly get in the air and hover over Nancy Guthrie's house or Annie Guthrie's house or a particular search site. But at night, the drones just do not have the visibility. Oh, all right, somebody's walking over here. Let's bring up audio. Let's listen into the scene.
Especially after the video was released of the front doorbell camera and that haunting image of the suspect approaching Nancy Guthrie's front door. And that has triggered an avalanche of tips.
Might just be some pedestrians. Anytime you see people walking over towards a media staging area, you just have to be ready for it being a PIO or some representative of some agency. But now it's okay. Interesting. We have some more folks walking here over towards the media staging area. And perhaps it's just to brief them on the fact that there isn't going to be a press conference now.
Press conference.
Guys, both of you, I'm going to ask both of the producers here to stay on the Pima County Sheriff's Office accounts on X, Facebook. So the moment that this statement comes down, we can share it out.
Yeah, they said a written statement is forthcoming. I do wonder if they might. We know that the PIO, at the very least, was planning on arriving on the scene. I wonder if maybe they would arrive and read the statement and not take questions. So it's not necessarily a press conference. I don't know if that would be what they're saying here, but we'll see as we learn more. Something else I wanted to point out, JB, as we talked about forensics and how quickly they seem to leave the scene. We learned about the scene roughly an hour ago. Does not mean that scene was necessarily only about an hour old. There was a report the News Nation put out that a Pima County Sheriff's Office airplane was in the air on Friday afternoon, and around that same time as the aircraft launch, a mobile command center was seen leaving the sheriff's office, and sources said the SWAT team had been activated. That was in the afternoon. So there's a chance that they maybe have been on scene for a little while, and only more recently did the media become aware of it. Did we learn about the scene? I'm not sure if that's the case.
Because a bomb squad vehicle was seen leaving earlier, and the internet began losing its mind. And
so it's, I mean, if it was in the afternoon, it's possible they've been there for a few hours already, but hard to believe it would take that long to notice that heavy of an activity around that area.
Yeah.
With how much this story's been covered and looked at.
And perhaps I'm a bit naive to the situation, but when I was a reporter in the field years ago, if I ever, and it was a developing story like this, if I ever saw a vehicle like whether it was a SWAT vehicle or a bomb squad vehicle, wherever it may be, and it was taking off in a hurry, me and my photographer, we got in the car and we were just following that vehicle. I remember a time in Mississippi
nothing. We don't know anything about that. Okay. So
where a suspect,
I'm sure we'll revisit it later.
Suspect that had been on the run for, I believe, 5 or 6 days.
I don't know what was seen.
An armed and dangerous suspect. And that's, like that. I was curious.
I'm here. We're talking about Miss Nancy.
Going to follow the vehicle. It might have happened. Maybe local media did. Maybe some national media did. But I don't know if I saw any of that taking place. Because ultimately, perhaps it would have taken them to the scene that ultimately unfolded. I mean, down the rabbit hole a bit here, I know, but
Well, again, Brian Enton, when he got there, didn't reveal the location. And it was
Right.
pretty, pretty clear why he wasn't doing that. Again, this all coming same time. It's confirmed that there was other DNA at that scene collected from the property from the sheriff that wasn't Nancy's or any of the people that they had swabbed or anyone that was close to the family that they had spoken to.
all right. So I'm going to update some graphics here. But guys, let's just for those just filing in, can we review with where we are in for the audience again? The audience that just joined us, let's fill them in on what's going on.
Absolutely. Pima County Sheriff's officials had an airplane Friday afternoon in the air that News Nation had learned earlier to point to a significant development, perhaps, in the case of Nancy Guthrie. Around the same time as the aircraft launching, a mobile command center was seen leaving sheriff's office, and sources say a SWAT team had been activated. Roughly an hour and, say, 20 or so minutes ago, we learned of the SWAT activity at a neighborhood roughly 2 miles away from Nancy Guthrie's home. It coincided with a traffic stop that said was to be reportedly connected to the operations. Part of that traffic stop, part of that SWAT activity was the detaining of 2 males and one of their mothers after receiving a tip. Authorities did. They detained these individuals, seemingly questioned. Just as a cautionary measure, we are saying anyone who is questioned or stopped during a warrant execution is technically considered to be detained. So saying that these individuals are detained does not mean that they are suspects, but that is the latest that we heard. By the time we had gotten up with this live stream, we had seen forensics vehicles leaving the scene. We saw the SWAT units leaving the scene, and now we are seeing what looks like the remnants here of the activity outside. Pima County sheriffs said there is no press briefing scheduled for tonight, despite reports the prior. The written statement is forthcoming.
Okay, so we're gonna if you're just joining us, we're waiting on this update that we are expecting imminently on what exactly this was as far as the SWAT response in Arizona. Here, let's bring up audio again.
We just got just 9 seconds ago.
Hold on 1 second. Someone's walking over. Let's just listen in here for a second. Anytime a law enforcement officer walks over to the media, it could be regarding an update, even a heads up to Sarah, just like hey, I just want to let you know, we just heard, a statement's going to be released in the next 5 minutes. It could be any sort of just to let the media that's out there know. I believe it's clearly raining out there. So, Josh, what do you got?
Yeah, Brian Enton, who was there and had clearly staying away from the investigation, just got moved out of the perimeter after a ton of FBI arrived. And so, again, getting a message from another producer here, a bunch of FBI has arrived to the scene and apparently moved some reporters out of the way.
So it is not quite a...
no, all right. So this isn't a...
It seems still like it's active, very active.
I'm going to just kind of... say what everyone is thinking. The FBI is just now arriving?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, now that
there's been, and I ask it that way only because if you've been following this saga over the last 48 hours, there has been reported discord between the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI, the agents working the investigation on the federal and local levels. The reports came out originally that there was a withholding of information, evidence, that the FBI wasn't being granted everything. And then, there was a lot of, walking that back with the Pima County Sheriff's Office and Pima County Sheriff saying that no, that there is cooperation occurring between the two agencies. So it strikes me, just my gut reaction, it's curious if the FBI is now just getting to the scene. And why that might be, we can only wonder at this stage. But it certainly strikes me as a bit peculiar that only now are the FBI getting to the scene when this has been a scene for some time.
Hey, what do you need me to do here? You tell me to jump on some IFB, but not RF?
All right, that's some idle chatter from the photographers.
All right, so basically,
I'll bring up the audio again if there's
right,
anything
people that are just joining
of note. But
supposedly a schedule.
Yeah, okay,
We're still waiting on this written statement that we have been told is
that's not happening. But now it says that there's a written
JB, we talked about this earlier when we were on stream earlier today, and we talked about the seeming tension between Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI. And one of those points of conflict, according to the reports that we had seen, was withholding might be a strong word, but maybe not the readily sharing of information and of evidence with the FBI from the Pima County Sheriff's Department. I mean, I have to wonder if FBI is just arriving, is that?
So basically they were going to have a press conference. It sounds like they're not going to have a press conference tonight, but there is going to be a written statement. It sounds like at least 2 people detained. Sounds like a mother and a son and maybe somebody else. I don't know what the hell else is going on in other parts of Tucson. It's pretty good size city. So we'll
first calls is to your partners, the FBI.
I mean, we've spoken to enough people on the law enforcement side that would say that you're in constant contact with the agencies that can most assist you in these situations. There is always going to be a lead investigative agency. There's always an agency calling the shots and basically being point. However, the best investigations based on those that we've spoken to, experts that we've been speaking to for days, they say that you want the most talented people around you. You want the best agencies around you. You want all the resources at your disposal. That's just how these investigations work when they're this complex and this large in scale when it comes to.
We know that, but okay. But another thing too, I wonder, if this is possibly related to the ransoms, or if this, that which is also, which also has to do with Miss Nancy as well. But I'm hopeful that this isn't about just the ransom. That these are people that they feel know where Nancy is, and I hope that
massive news story right now. And if it's not relatable to people around the world because they don't know who Savannah Guthrie is, this is an abduction of an 84-year-old woman in the middle of the night with someone wearing a mask showing up to the front door, seemingly appearing to abduct an elderly woman in the middle of the night and leaving a trail of blood behind. So that's scary. Doesn't matter what country you live in. That's the stuff of nightmares. That is terrifying for anyone. We have mothers, we have grandmothers. To imagine that happening to your mother, your grandmother, your relative, it's absolutely frightening. And so even if you don't know the reputation and the career of Savannah Guthrie, people around the world, people around the country just want to know, is this woman alive? And perhaps we get an update tonight. We might not be getting a press conference, but we have now been, let's call this what it is. We're not getting a press conference, but for the first time in 8 days, the Pima County Sheriff's Office is indicating to the world that we're going to release something out.
A statement.
Yep. Yeah, to the world. And what that statement is pertaining to this investigation, time will tell. And we imagine it's going to come in the minutes ahead.
We are still waiting for that. I do want to point out, JB, we do also see reports from KVOA that the Sahuarita Police Department and Oro Valley Police Departments were also at the scene. So it wasn't just Pima County Sheriff's Office. At least 2 different police departments were also there. Now we know the FBI is arriving. It's and that's the most activity we've seen in this case.
And that's standard. So for those who remember the Petito investigation here in Florida, it wasn't it wasn't just Northport Police. There were 3, 4, I think sometimes 5 county sheriff's offices that were represented in the search for Brian Laundrie here in Florida, because the more boots on the ground that you had, the more help that you had from assisting agencies, the more likely you were to have a favorable outcome.
Yeah, TMZ got another note, and they'll probably get another one tomorrow, and then another one the next day until this is over.
Respond to this particular.
I'll probably get notes even after this is over.
SWAT situation, but
because every time they get a note, Harvey goes live.
Yes,
they're shut down by the Pima County Sheriff's Department, then saying a written statement is forthcoming, and then you get the FBI on scene with everything else that has happened thus far between the FBI, the conjecture about whether or not they're working together, or if there's some turbulence between the relationship there. You hope for the best, right? You hope that this is it, and something, a major break in the case comes from this activity tonight. But even if there isn't, this isn't just going to be another, in my view, a little skip in this process. There's going to be serious conversations about why the FBI showed up when they showed up, and whether or not
Harvey has wedged his ass in here so hard.
That I'm wondering, and this might be
crowbar and have wedged himself.
How we think about it when we do coverage on stories like this. And I don't know enough about the Tucson news market, but I'm curious as to why there isn't a chopper in the air, and if any of the television stations in Tucson have access to a news helicopter. There's no doubt that Phoenix news stations have a news helicopter. Now, if a TFR went up, which I would imagine would be, I mean, would a TFR? And I know that there are some flight radar pros in the comment section that know way more about this than I do. And I'd be curious if a TFR went up over Tucson, and maybe that's something I can check out here. But usually a story of this magnitude at night, when a drone can't fly, but you need to be able to see beyond a police perimeter, news stations, it's just newsroom 101. If a news station has a helicopter, they get up in the air to provide an image of the area that the ground shot here can't see. And while some people might look at that and be like, isn't that why the perimeter is set up, to keep the media out? Yes, but this is something that happens. It's standard in our industry. When we can't get past a certain point on the ground, you go by air. And so I'm not sure as to why the television station, if Tucson doesn't have access to any news helicopters, I'm just curious, I'm just thinking out loud here, why Phoenix hasn't scrambled a chopper to Tucson to give us a look here at the scene, especially if that
appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Chopper has night vision and being able to see, obviously, at night. Do we have this shot? Let's look at this. It's a news photographer just kind of cleaning their lens because clearly there's some drizzle, some rain coming down there in Tucson.
We do have a report from KVOA that this SWAT activity is happening in the Shadow Hills neighborhood there. Again, we've been told that's about 1.9 miles away from Nancy Guthrie's home.
What an ominous name.
Shadow Hills.
For an area with a SWAT investigation in the night.
Yeah.
I keep thinking of that the same thing, Deedles. What kind of monster kidnaps a defenseless 84-year-old woman in the middle of the night? It's unfathomable. But unfortunately, older people, their houses get broken into all the time, and that they get robbed, and so who knows exactly what happened. But we're hoping for a statement here shortly.
And I'm looking at the FAA's website. There is no active TFR, temporary flight restriction, by the way, folks. So a TFR is common, and just to kind of explain, what a TFR is. A TFR will go up when they do not want aircraft in a particular area. A TFR, like a common time you would throw up a TFR, is during a big public gathering, let's say a big parade, or let's say a big sporting event, you put up a TFR. But law enforcement can request TFRs to keep
Microphones
aircraft out of a particular area for, if there's, if it's an area where they're really trying to keep out, the media, for example. But I don't see any TFRs up over Tucson, Arizona. So why there isn't a news chopper in the air, only news stations in Arizona could really tell us. But that's just something that because we can't see past this.
It's been about 32 minutes now since Pima County Sheriff's Department said that there would be no press briefing, despite previous reports that their PIO was en route to the scene. We are still awaiting that written statement that they said was forthcoming now at 33-ish minutes. Just as a reminder, also, of course, we've heard reports from News Nation on scene that they were getting moved away from the perimeter about 15 minutes ago, after apparently a ton of FBI agents arrived. That is a quote from Brian.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Sammy. So
let's explain what we're looking at here, folks. News Nation obtained this exclusive video of a traffic stop that occurred tonight. You can see a white van there, plus a lot of vehicles. And then off in the distance, you see it there off in the distance? I'm going to freeze it right here so everybody can see this. And here you can see it a little better. It's really hard to see, but if I kind of, I'm going to try to play this here like this. You can see right there the flashing lights. This might have been the final opportunity for a drone in the air to capture video, because it's clearly drone video.
And Lulu, thank you.
And there's obviously,
Lulu says, I agree with the chat, looking svelte and fit.
News Nation clearly got their drone in the air as this traffic stop was occurring and caught an image of it. And then we got this feed right here showing a traffic stop in front of a Culver's. Now, what connection this traffic stop has to the press conference, or excuse me, the SWAT response, that remains unclear. Something that we hope to find out when this statement drops, as promised, from the Pima County Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, and we pointed it out earlier, but I'll point it out again here that there was earlier reports earlier in the week that an unmarked white van was something that they were searching for. Obviously, very clearly, you can see here in this exclusive video that there is an unmarked white van, at least in the vicinity of the traffic stop, if not the subject of the traffic stop.
So again, going here live to the scene, things have quieted down, but we do know that the FBI has arrived. So the scene isn't dead. It's just, well, it's being examined, as we could imagine right now, and what that scene looks like. We don't even know what the scene really is. We know that, there were individuals detained out of a home, so perhaps officials are combing through that home right now and looking for anything that could be connected to the Guthrie investigation.
We do remember, of course, the forensics vehicles that were seen leaving the scene a little while ago, perhaps because they...
I heard earlier that Brian Enton said that he was stuck in the area that was like taped off or whatever. And that I don't know how he got inside there, but he was in there.
37 minutes.
37 minutes. So yeah.
Stand by. I'm working on getting that map of the area.
Yeah. And what we're going to do starting now is we are going to...
which is sort of how... kind of reminds me of how Dorothy ended up in the land of Oz.
You who have seen our streams before, we make these streams interactive using our hashtag
Less
system.
than 2 miles.
So I'll explain how this hashtag system works, and then we're going to quite literally start to bring you guys into the conversation with our hashtag system. So we respect, of course, the privacy of our audience, and want to make sure that if you don't want your comment to be featured on screen, we tell you the instructions of basically how you can participate and how you can choose to not participate. If you use hashtag Hey JB, hashtag Hey Josh, or hashtag Hey Garrett with your comment on either YouTube Live, Facebook Live, or TikTok Live. Your comment appears on a screen right here to my left in the stream center. I see you can, I don't know if you can see it here from the slider cam, but we have comments scrolling in. I can see your comment provided you use one of those 3 hashtags. If you want to ask us a question, if you want to point out something, maybe we missed something and maybe you're saying, hey, JB, you need to be looking at this, or did you notice that? Again, hashtag Hey JB, hashtag Hey Josh, or hashtag Hey Garrett, starting now. If you use that hashtag with your comment, it will populate here. If you don't want your comment to be plucked and actually visibly seen on our live stream to a lot of people tonight, just don't use the hashtag, and you can continue to chat back and forth with your fellow audience members. So let's actually bring in those comments now and see what we got. And they're coming in so fast. Okay, let's go to Kay on TikTok Live. Hashtag Hey Josh. When is the written statement? We weren't given any promise as to when the statement is going to drop, correct? We're just waiting now, like the rest of the world.
Correct. Yeah, Pima County Sheriff's Department. Now it's been 38 minutes since they tweeted out, and I quote, "There is no press briefing scheduled for tonight regarding the Nancy Guthrie investigation. A written statement is forthcoming." Now, again, this comes after we had learned that the PIO was supposedly on the way there. Seemingly they had plans for a press briefing or at least some type of address to the media, and then it was seemingly pulled. Yeah, and now we are just waiting for this forthcoming statement.
So Crystal on YouTube Live saying, when is the press conference? They said there was going to be a press conference, Crystal, and or is it Chris? Regardless, we'll say Chris. Chris, there was supposed to be a press conference. In fact, the 3 of us here on stream, we all rushed in from home at around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. We all rushed to get here, getting ready for press conference coverage. And then that got walked back, and it's no longer a press conference. It is now a statement. Now, whether or not that means that this is still a significant deal, or not as big of a deal, perhaps that will be, we'll find out more when the actual statement is released. But we've gone from a press conference to a statement, and we do not know exactly when that statement is going to drop.
And if we do want to bring the map up, we have a little bit. Sure. Again, it's just traditional Google Maps here. This is the Shadow Hills area, and that's this entire area right here.
It's actually called Shadow Hills.
It's called Shadow Hills. Now, this is within the Catalina foothills, which is this larger area, a little bit northeast, it looks like, of Tucson. This is the area in which Nancy Guthrie's home exists. Now,
if we want area they were canvassing earlier.
Correct. And if we want to get real specific, this right here, where my cursor is, appears to be where the road was blocked off. Again, where Garrett, if you want to attempt to pronounce the name of that street again, East Placida de Gracila, excuse me for the mispronunciation, and North Camino de Michael. This is the area that was blocked off, according to that report. So again, zoom out here. This is specifically.
Let's change it to satellite view, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's just see what we're talking about here as far as neighborhood.
I'm blocking this.
And I'll try to move this over a little bit so that people can see this a little bit better.
In fact, let's.
Here. Yeah, can you take this full screen and get rid of the UI there on the left? Yeah. Oh, there you go. This is a Google Street View.
This is a Google Street View. If we can move around in it,
should be able to.
Yeah, it's not letting me. This is interesting.
And folks, if anything happens at the live scene, I have it on the touch screen here in the stream center. I'll go back to it immediately. But you're not missing anything. It's still the same sheriff's vehicle at the perimeter. There's nothing going on live, so we can go away from the live picture here for just a moment.
So again, I want to make sure we're in the right spot here.
If you want, do you want to come back to this?
Yeah, why don't you? Okay. We'll come back. To this.
We'll come back. We'll come back to this in just a minute.
Probably
stay with the live feed for now. In the meantime, I'm going to take some more questions, and you let me know whenever you're ready. We'll go back to hashtag Hey JB, hashtag Hey Josh, hashtag Hey Garrett. You know what? Sometimes it's not exactly journalistic verbiage, Kiwi, but I was thinking the same thing. Hey JB might be a nothing burger like the other night. And what Kiwi is referring to is when somebody was detained and when NBC News broke into Olympics coverage with this massive update that a person was detained in the Nancy Guthrie investigation. And as it turned out, that person was just questioned for a little bit and then ultimately released. And it turned out to be, as Kiwi points out, a nothing burger. Now,
we know this is at least the third time that has happened now at this point.
Right. And perhaps the reason, without delving too far into speculation, perhaps one of the reasons why we went from a press conference to a press statement is because the sheriff's office doesn't want to once again have another situation on their hands where they were, expecting results, significant results, and then delivering, once again, as Kiwi notes, a nothing burger. Somebody talking at the scene. Let's just bring up audio for a second. Let's just kind of listen in at the scene for a moment.
So how many, like that's a blocked out. Look at Google Maps.
Should I be where the other guy?
Just some more idle chatter with the reporters there.
Okay, there. I'm the Josh. That's right.
Thomas says, "Hey JB, please continue your reporting. We're staying. We're not going anywhere, folks. We're staying here until this statement comes in. I just really hope it's not breakfast time by the time this statement comes in. That would be very unfortunate."
Yep. KOLD said that the media staging area, as we had talked about previously, there was seemingly a plan for a press conference. There was a media staging area that was set up around 11 p.m. Eastern time. It was about an hour and a half ago. So it does seem like, to me at least,
Mary.
And again, we're not sure.
5 lab.
It does seem like to me that they had planned to speak. For sure, had planned to speak to the media before pivoting to this written statement.
That's right.
Okay, so
I hope so, because I still think those rants
interesting.
To
the fact that
demands were BS, and Harvey with his letters.
See, yeah. So Fox News has a drone in the sky with night vision. We do not have the authority to take that particular picture, but it is a nighttime video. They're calling it their night drone.
I'm seeing,
and it's clearly a live picture showing the block. And I'll just describe it for our audience because it's really not. There isn't much to see.
I heard that Enton told Jesse Weber that, but I only heard that.
That's all it is. It's all you're seeing, and it's a hazy black and white image. So while it sounds, night drone, it sounds like this, extraordinarily, sophisticated thing, and it's impressive that they were able to get this shot, but it doesn't show as much as you would think. It's very difficult to make out anything of consequence.
We were able to get that Google Maps in 2 different views. So we have the on the ground view, and this, if we go to it, you'll be able to see what's been reported as the area that's been blocked off.
I feel like,
and we have the satellite imagery as well.
VK with a great question. Again, we're answering questions with any of our hashtags. Hey JB, hey Garrett, or hey Josh. And VK says, do you think this could be waiting on next of kin notification? I don't look. I'm just going to say it's very procedural, and VK is thinking along the lines of previous investigations that we have covered, where there is, yes, some of a period of time where the media isn't informed of a situation. The media is basically put on the back burner because of a higher priority item, which would be next of kin notification. Not saying that we have, to answer the question, we have no idea, and it would be highly premature, reckless to even.
I mean, if that happens and nobody knows if that's, it'd be such a gut punch. I mean, I already have a terrible feeling about this, but
media doesn't find out immediately. That's just not how the process works. It would be kept to a very small group of law enforcement. because next of kin is of the highest priority to alert the family of what has transpired, and you don't tell the entire agency for fear of a leak getting out to the media, because the very worst possible scenario is it becoming a massive media story and the family hasn't been properly notified yet. So again, one more time, we have no idea what is going on right now in regards to Nancy Guthrie and what has happened to her, but procedurally the answer is that is how it would unfold. Yes, that there would be a next of kin notification, and everything as far as from the media's perspective would basically be on pause until next of kin is completed.
Before we move on to the street view, I do want to point out one other thing, JB.
It really is.
Earlier in the stream today, we had gotten that report that FBI agents were arriving on scene. We thought it was a bit late to have the FBI arrive. Well, I just want to point out that KOLD said that when they saw the media staging area set up around 9 p.m., there was a source on scene that said there was a large police presence there, and that included vehicles from several agencies, including the FBI.
Okay.
So there was FBI agents on scene. It seems more have arrived since, but they were there at least as early as the media's arrival.
And that makes sense, especially with the multi-agency
Thank
response.
you. I appreciate
that. Brian Enton's tweet was just got moved out of the perimeter after a ton of FBI arrived, but there could have been FBI already present on scene.
And we saw live in these live videos, we saw Pima County Sheriff's Department vehicles also arriving around the same time. So it's not just the FBI. There are multiple different agencies that are arriving still, or maybe still to come.
Yeah. And once again, confirming that there's no TFR because of this Fox drone that's up in the air. But why there isn't a news helicopter above this neighborhood is I just don't know. All right,
there's an update from Pima County Sheriff's Department on Twitter.
What do you got?
There's not a written statement yet, but says reporting that current law enforcement activity is surrounding a home belonging to a former county attorney is not accurate. I had not seen that report yet, but that is what they just tweeted out about 20 seconds ago.
So the Pima County Sheriff's Office is
debunking reports.
Is debunking social media gossip.
Such shit, dude.
In fact, before we even saw it.
And our executive producer, Nathaniel, is telling me there isn't a single news station in Arizona that is reporting a former county attorney's home being surrounded.
So was this in response to
they're
online chatter?
They're literally responding to online chatter. They're not responding to a report.
Okay.
Bizarre. And because we're honed in here on a lot of chatter going on online. I haven't.
That was the first
time I've heard anything about that. First time.
So they're shooting down something that we haven't even seen
from an account that has a lot of people. A lot of people have notifications on, and probably a lot more people now are like, we haven't heard about that, and suddenly now it will be talked about because they came out denying it.
Now I'm
statistically, what do you think the odds are that this is a real break in the case? I mean, there's a lot of firepower for it not to have something to do.
Okay, I see.
What?
I see one.
Well, hopefully this has to do with.
Okay, I see it now.
Not the stupid ass ransom notes that I don't believe.
I think based on what I am seeing, it's a TikTok report that
I've seen
I'm not going to mention the name of the attorney, especially given the.
I've seen responses to that tweet saying that property records and things like that point to that, and that's.
In all honesty, I have not been this.
That's crazy.
Engrossed in a case since probably Petito. And
in the last.
I think with a lot of people, I feel like it probably hits close to home just because of my circumstance with caring for my grandmother.
Total.
I just couldn't imagine.
About
I don't know what these people.
this
I can't imagine what they're going.
attorney.
Disgusting.
10. And none of them have more than 3 retweets. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There's one here with 37 retweets.
That seems.
There has to be some viral TikTok, some viral YouTube short or Instagram reel or some post on another platform that's gone bonkers for them to respond in this way.
And I talk to my grandma
put down
every day. Like,
just one singular media organization in the area.
She doesn't follow anything like this, and she's invested.
That they would respond.
Can't believe it either.
To that, but wouldn't respond to so many other significant reports that are currently circulating.
I'm going to assume that's not the written statement that they were referring to as forthcoming.
I would hope not. I think that it's fair to say that there's been, JB and Josh, I think it's fair to say there's been a number of, let's call them strange occurrences when it comes to the handling of this investigation. I mean, we had talked earlier in the week, or rather end of last week, they had kind of turned over the scene to the family when people thought it was a bit premature. There was earlier today, the pool cleaners that were allowed in the backyard seemingly to clean the pool at Nancy Guthrie's home. And now, to debunk a rumor that doesn't even seem to be really a rumor yet it's just strange is the best way to describe it.
Let's continue talking with our audience. For those of you just joining recently, the time I'd like to wish everybody in our comment section a happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's.
From Josh Scott, Garrett Phillips, and myself.
At least if you're on the East Coast.
Right, thank you. For our East Coast audience. Yes, it is officially Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. We are not at home. We all just kind of rushed in here to basically prepare for a major press conference, only to find out about 20 or so minutes into our live stream that a press conference has been replaced by a press statement,
which we are still waiting for.
We are still waiting for.
It has now been 55 minutes since they said the statement would be forthcoming. We are still waiting.
And we don't have it.
We do not have it.
So we're going to continue in the meantime to bring you into our conversation. So, and you know what? Let's just, how about one word? A one-word comment from Scott Nichols on Facebook Live. #HeyJB. And he just says, chaos.
Chaos. That's right.
There are
Thank you. I appreciate you being here.
Comments on social media with some things that I can't say on stream in regards to this investigation and believing that it is rife with dysfunction. And so this word, Scott, please feel free to elaborate, but that's how a lot of people feel about the ongoing situation. Can we just bring it back to ground level here? Is Nancy Guthrie alive? So that is the question. If you boil, we have hundreds of questions in this case right now, but if you could only get an answer to one question and you boil it down to that one, it's, is Nancy Guthrie alive? We're gonna take some more comments here in just a second, and perhaps we'll do. You know what, Josh? You want to prep a YouTube poll?
Sure.
Do we do
the $6
let's ask our audience? Are they holding out hope for Nancy Guthrie? I'm curious as to how people are feeling out there, and whether or not they are maintaining hope.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn this down. When I was talking to my grandma, we were talking about this today, and if she is alive, and that's the hope, but what is she going through? What is she enduring at her age with her health conditions. You know, it's can't be a comfortable, you know, it's just unfathomable that somebody could keep an 84-year-old woman hostage for 13, 14 days, almost 2 weeks now. It's not, it's incomprehensible.
Of some massive.
But then again, like what did she endure when it was going down as well? I mean, it's terrifying.
That's what my gut tells me.
Well, I suspect
if she was found alive,
it'd be one of the fastest
things
releases.
of all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, let's go the other way. If it's the worst case scenario, which I don't even want to, speak aloud. If it's the worst case scenario, to our previous commenter's point, procedurally, yes, next of kin notification is what follows. But ultimately, that's what this boils down to. Yes, there's the search for the suspect, and yes, there's the search for a motive, and yes, why would somebody do this, and also get how were they able to elude authorities for 14 days? There's endless amounts of questions that follow, but ultimately it all stems off of one, and that being, is Nancy Guthrie alive? And maybe we get an update tonight, or maybe we don't.
And that poll is live now.
Two Men Gaming on YouTube says there's no ambulance on scene. We don't know that, as we have another vehicle now pulling up here. Yeah.
We have a fairly narrow view of the scene, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I'll tell you from the Fox drone video, I don't even think you could make out an ambulance. I got to be honest. The Fox drone video, impressive that they have it, but at the same time, you're not seeing all that much.
Right. I mean, if you've ever watched any night vision aerials, it's a lot of blacks, whites, and grays, and it's hard to distinguish. So even if you could see a bunch of vehicles, I don't know that you could determine if one was a sheriff's vehicle, an FBI vehicle, a ambulance, or anything like that. It would be very hard to tell.
Hey, Josh, what are the law enforcement still doing inside now that they've canceled the press conference? Well, clearly they're processing a scene, and whether or not what that looks like, only the agents who are responding know. However, look, there is a public information team.
I was watching a show earlier. I think it was on Paramount. It was called like Murder 360, and there was an elderly couple that went hiking and got killed on the trail. And he had been, the man had been in the woods for quite some time. And the way that they ID'd him was through his pacemaker, which was still working, I believe, which is like just a crazy.
After they originally state that the statement is released.
So while it's kind of the reverse of that so far.
Right. It's a massive long shot, but could a press conference still happen? In theory, sure. Especially with this media it's interesting with this media staging area that, the media is still there at the staging area.
Clearly we have a live shot here.
Clearly. So there's even though they have basically indicated that they're not going to be doing a press conference, that was an hour ago now.
I had no idea.
So things, it's very possible, might have changed.
And there is certainly an appetite for something like that, because we've talked about it today. Now, especially here on the East Coast, now as we're moving into Saturday, we are now 9 days away.
I know.
From the last press conference, the last press briefing where they spoke on this case. It has been very little information trickling out of law enforcement as to it pertains to this. So there are people, obviously, when we had heard, right, JB, Josh, when we had heard that there was going to be a press conference, we were all excited isn't the right word, but ready to go, right? We were ready for more information.
I think the world was ready for an update.
Right. And so we kind of had that rug pulled out from under us. And now we're sitting here waiting for
pearls.
What we hope is still going to be an update, even if it's in written form. and hoping that it's going to happen sooner rather than later. They
There
only
is
said
some-
forthcoming, as you mentioned, it's
There
been
is
an
some
hour.
speculation that, there was going to be a press conference, but now they're saying there's no press conference, but there's going to be a written statement. Some people think, well, maybe that's because they're notifying the family, but we don't know that to be fact at all. Matter of fact, it's only wild conjecture and speculation.
You can't confirm that, but I'll hang up my news career if he's at the local Starbucks. Even though he was at the local football game, which of course caused a significant uproar. I think it's fair to say online, but you would imagine that he is on site,
Or at least on his way if he hasn't already arrived.
Yep. Let's see there. Actually, you know what, Kaylee on TikTok? It's a great question. Why are there SWAT?
I'm not saying it's not a lot
SWAT
speculation but
you're pushing a button, and with that level of response, and you would imagine it's going to be justified in some way, shape, or form.
Right. SWAT is used for normally high risk operations, right?
Absolutely.
They're not just deployed for a simple questioning or traffic stop. They had to have thought that there was something high risk involved for SWAT to be mobilized in the first place.
My curiosity is, this is the second time they've searched a house regarding this case, or at least in the past couple of days. Previously, they didn't utilize SWAT. So I'd be curious to see what was different this time that had them going. I mean, this is clearly a bigger situation than we had a couple of days ago. When
Kelsey says, are people being a little too hard on the sheriff, or am I just out of the loop? Apparently the sheriff has quite the reputation that precedes him. So I don't know.
The situation predating that and tonight really was.
So we know that they arrived here, that this all happened because of supposedly a tip that authorities received. I mean, what tip could have warranted a SWAT response?
This is what I've been worried about too, is that this is a tip. Again, I knew that they have to take these tips serious. And if this is just a BS tip, then, oh man, that's what happened with the Carlos guy.
SWAT usage
Right.
in the search of a home.
There's wild speculation that I'm being alerted to that this is pertaining to an individual that might look like the person seen in the video.
Shit.
And when I say the video, I mean both videos, because by now there have been the sketches that have made their way around the internet of a man with a goatee. We of course dissected the Ring doorbell video
From the neighbor.
repeatedly, and yeah, well, right, that one and the one with
They
the
did it
mask.
Carlos's. They did it Carlos. They kicked the door.
Mask. So there's a ton of speculation right now pointing to whether or not there's a person on this street that matches that description. There's a lot of reckless, in all capital letters, reckless reporting going on right now.
No question.
Online. And look, if that's your brand of journalism, not even to use that word, but if that's your brand of consuming information,
Shots fired, dude.
that's that's okay, I suppose. But there's some serious reckless reporting going on right now on social media that that's just alarming. And we of course have a process that we stick to when it comes to distributing information, and it's alarming to see the level of reckless information sharing that is going on right now on certain channels of the internet.
So this is sort of how I think this is sort of what he's talking about, Lisa, is not a BS tip. Well, first of all, nobody knows that except law enforcement. In my opinion, someone fled and unalived himself as a result of the raid. We don't know that either. How is that not being reported by anybody else anywhere? anywhere.
Terrified because it might be somebody who is completely innocent and have nothing to do with this. And then there is irreparable harm to that person and their family if they have nothing to do with it, but all of a sudden their name and their face is blasted around the internet. People, this isn't, oh, here's another, okay, so here's the SWAT vehicle leaving. Hold on, I have it now. It just passed. Let's get it on this shot. This is on a delay of about 3 seconds. This is a Pima County Sheriff's Office SWAT vehicle now leaving the scene. Or going just past the perimeter at this point. We'll keep an eye out for other vehicles going.
JB, I've been alerted that News Nation has an interview with the neighbor and that we are obtaining that right now.
Okay. So for those of you who are...
I'm not saying that Dolly didn't see something happen, but we don't know if it's related to this. Do we?
That's our team. So in fact, you know, let's just Brian Enton's live right now. I'd love to be able to tap into his feed, but I'm gonna wait. Let's see what this interview with the neighbor looks like, and we'll see if we can get that. But basically what I'm saying is that we have access to these News Nation assets, and we're gonna bring those in as soon as we have them, and as soon as they're gathered.
It looks like we actually check
what I just put up was that somebody said, well, the reason is because they were running. We don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to take a listen to it before we.
Let's vet it first.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
I'm talking to Nathaniel. Hold on.
I think it was
okay. He did listen to it. All right. So it's clear for air. Let's take this and let's load this up. All right. So to our audience, Josh, Garrett, and I have not watched this yet.
And
so we're all watching it together for the first time. Our team in the newsroom has listened to it. This is with a neighbor by the name of Peter Mulk. Let's see if we can bring this in and listen in.
What's your first and your last name?
Peter Mulk.
Oh no.
Peter. So we're out here. We're about 2 miles away from Nancy Guthrie's house. How's this whole last 14 days made you feel?
No, it's unbelievably absurd. It's making everybody nervous. It's just surreal, and we just can't imagine how the family is processing all this. You know, as a neighbor, as a person that lives in the community, you know, we just wanted to resolve, you know, for the positive.
And so what do you make it? How's it feel? There's, 20 cop cars,
Yeah.
a couple SWAT.
Yeah, I live right across the street.
Right across the street.
Yeah, it's weird.
Tell us your thoughts when you saw that going on. Maybe, just about trying to process it all. Tell us how you feel about that.
We feel that, you know, they might have gotten a tip. There's been a lot of tips, I'm sure, over the past 2 weeks, but this seems to be a tip that's, you know, could be close. Hopefully it's something that's credible and, you know, it's actual. So hopefully they get somebody, but living right so close to it, I can't imagine that if they get somebody that lives right next to me on my street, that, you know, that even makes sense, you know, to be in this neighborhood, to have all these cops here. You know, there's bomb squad vehicles, a lot of cops, a lot of presence. So.
All right. Again, that was an interview with News Nation.
How underwhelming.
Providing to us the interview with that neighbor. There's some chatter at the scene. Let's listen in. Oh no, they killed the audio from the scene. Interesting. Oh no, that looks like a neighbor speaking, and the rain is coming down harder here. I'd like to listen in.
Listen in.
Alex, well, everything here is still developing and has been developing shortly after 8 o'clock Mountain Time here in Tucson. We started hearing the rumblings that law enforcement vehicles were descending here in this neighborhood, stunning fashion, not very far away from where.
That interview was one of the most underwhelming interviews I've ever seen. I was so like, oh shit, and he's like, Dad, this is crazy.
Was reported outside of a home in Shadow Hills neighborhood. It's about 1.9 miles
But shout out to
roughly away from Nancy Guthrie's home.
What's he supposed to say?
We're still waiting for a written statement from Pima County Sheriff's Department. They had previously planned a press briefing. That seems to have been canceled. We are now waiting on a written statement forthcoming as we are just monitoring this here. It's been well over an hour now since the written statement was promised. And yet we still have not seen anything yet.
You want to go back to the map view?
No
or...
problem.
Okay. All right. So what is this, an interview going on?
Looks to be, yes.
They killed audio on this shot. And so I would like to listen into what this conversation is, but
is that the interview that is that the individual, the neighbor we just saw with the hood up?
No, I don't think so. This looks like clearly what's happening is that folks in this neighborhood are now coming out, realizing what is unfolding, and seemingly more comfortable speaking to the media. That's what this appears to be.
Damn it.
But again, ultimately, folks, what we are here for and what we are waiting on is this statement. And this statement could drop at any moment. What the holdup is, I don't want to speculate. It could be for a variety of different reasons. Clearly, this is going to be the biggest update of the week, whatever statement this is. And so
certainly the most anticipated.
Right. We had talked about that, but there have been 8 going on 9 days since they last spoke to the media. So everybody's just kind of chomping at the bit a bit to try and frankly get any piece of information they can, any type of update from this situation.
Let's close that poll.
I'm looking on X. Give me
yeah. And can we delete that poll? Because yeah, let's just kind of get rid of that, because we were more hoping to ask about whether or not people still have hope as to whether or not Nancy Guthrie's alive.
An hour ago, Pima County Sheriff said
feeling out there amongst people if they have
information officer,
if there is this hope that they have.
But we releasing a statement soon, but that was an hour ago.
So just this is a story that has clearly emotionally resonated with so many people out there, and with where we are in this investigation, trying to get a sense of whether or not people are still holding out hope. You know, I think I would imagine that a lot of people are holding out hope. However, I do know that there are people that believe that think from more of a statistical side of things, and statistically, as these days go on and as these long days continue without any sign of Nancy, obviously, the odds of there being a happy ending to this story, the odds dwindle. And so look, I'm just going to say that I'm holding out hope. I'm holding out hope. I'm maintaining hope that this was an abduction that didn't go according to plan, and that she is still alive, and the person is unfamiliar, obviously, with how to proceed given the unprecedented nature of the situation, and that she is going to be reunited with her family. I think ultimately that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do my very best to hold out hope, and I hope others are holding out hope as well. I think that's the you know, it's human nature for us to we want this woman to have a happy rest of her life. We don't want it to for this dark scenario to unfold and become reality and become the truth. As we see another vehicle now, let's go full screen here.
Yeah, just a reminder that Tucson is about 2 hours, if I remember correctly, behind us. So this is a roughly, oh, you just ran over the cone there, roughly 11 o'clock at night for them. So, there's people still probably coming home that live in that neighborhood, whether it be from a late night at work or, a night out. That could be what we're seeing here as cars come in and out of the area. Of course, we're also seeing the SWAT vehicle that we saw earlier, forensics vehicles leaving. That was one of the first things we saw on the stream. And all the reports that we have seen is that there's been a lot of activity still as law enforcement, Pima County sheriffs, FBI still arriving on scene.
You know what, Eric? I saw that too.
There are a lot of people who are asking me because they know that Brian Vincent and I are friends. Brian, I don't even have to reach out to Brian. Brian has a full plate at the moment with what he's doing with News Nation. And while I would very much love to bring in Brian right now, I know that if I were to shoot him a text and say, "Hey man, are you available?" There is no chance. He's got, as someone, I haven't done that job, but as somebody who's done it in the field on a smaller scale, I can tell you, even on a smaller scale, you are inundated with requests and needs and responsibilities. And I'm going to tell you that Brian, because of his responsibilities for News Nation right now, will not be able to join us. So Fox News is reporting, yes, 3 people detained in the Nancy Guthrie case.
It was 2 men and one of the men's mother, according to that report. Still waiting.
And apparently the source that is speaking to Fox News saying that this was that the source cautioning that during a warrant execution, technically everyone is detained.
Correct. Yeah.
So
does not mean that they're a suspect in the case, only that they are being detained to be questioned while the warrant is being executed. And that's, again, basically the exact same thing that we saw with the first individual that was detained, the Uber driver. Was similar with, we think, with the individual that they were searching for who had a similar backpack that was caught on camera some ways away from Nancy Guthrie's home that they questioned as well.
That's what we're
Unfortunately,
hearing.
neither of those led to anything substantial as far as developments go for the case. Obviously, you'd hope that something like this might lead to a break. This still,
I mean, if this has nothing to do with anything, if it turns out to be a nothing burger, as burger sounds good, but if it turns out to be a nothing burger, can you imagine the level of distrust would just skyrocket even more? I mean, because of the one with Carlos the other day, people are still skeptical. I'm skeptical.
From this public street. Announced the street name earlier. It's a toughie, but let's see here.
We're coming up on about an hour and a half since the Pima County Sheriff's Department said that they would be releasing a statement in lieu of a press conference.
Killing me.
To people, and Tamara, I see your comment about the attorney. I'm just, you know what? I will. Again, the attorney. I understand what you're saying, and you don't have to scream in all caps. I see your comment. I'm telling you that it was the Pima County Sheriff's Office who is debunking that report and saying that it is not the attorney. So, and this is also why press conferences help set the record straight. And I understand that the Pima County Sheriff's Office, they don't want to, contribute to this.
Yeah, I remember
being any larger than it has to be with regular press conferences. You don't need to have regular press conferences. Their strategy is clearly to only do a press conference when there is an update. But 8 days without a press conference and a story of this magnitude, that's a long time between press appearances. And so I understand, I get it that Sheriff Nanos has been doing one-on-one media availabilities, and that's been their strategy out to the public. But unified press conferences where all the press can gather and it's a singular point of information is helpful to help setting the record straight and say, they can divulge what they can, and they can basically say we have no comment on what they can't answer. And but we've now lost a shot, so we're going to stay with this shot in the meantime. There, Sullivan and Jasmine on TikTok saying, is there a medical examiner there? Yeah, so that is now circulating online. We are looking into that. If somebody wants to tag me on X with a verified report that the medical examiner is on scene and not some erroneous, speculation-based tweet.
Yeah, I have not seen anything about it. I've seen claims of where the source is, but I've looked and I have not seen anything.
So SWAT left though.
Yeah, I mean, folks, you guys can tag me on X. You can use hashtag KJB, or you can at WFLAJB if you want to tag me in that. But our team is canvassing the internet for new information, and I don't see anything right now about it at me.
Ravioli. Oh my God.
Brian Enton is still on scene, yes. Yeah, I'm very familiar. We've been talking about it, Laura. The Fox News drone showing tons of cars, outside of the home. That's not anything out of the ordinary.
The reports are that there have been a lot of law enforcement arriving even this late. So one would think that is law enforcement from any agency in the general vicinity. Basically, we've seen at least 2 different police departments were reported having been responding to the scene. FBI, Pima County. It certainly still seems active, even if we're not getting any updates from the sheriff's department.
And you get it that the first 2 press conferences were a little chaotic, but at some point it swings the other way, where having the radio silence can lead to just a different form of chaos as well. We're certainly seeing that online.
I think the unfortunate truth about this for officials is that because of the attention that this story is getting, because of how national it has gone and really international, we've had people from across the pond even say that they've been watching this case.
We had a comment earlier from Australia. I think we got pulled away from it, but
and so with how much attention this is getting, it's really kind of a catch-22 in that if you speak too often and you don't have enough information, people will start asking why you're wasting time doing this instead of trying to solve the case. If you don't speak often enough, then of course now you're seeing what that means here, where people are now beginning to have an issue with a lack of information. It's a tightrope walk.
We're going to mute mics for 10 seconds.
Yeah. So I'll bring up, what? I'm taller than 6'1". I'm like closer to 6'3". 6'2" and a half-ish, I guess. 5'6".
Michael Ruiz, 2 minutes ago, tweeted out FBI agents are interviewing a man detained in a traffic stop nearby. We had seen that video earlier. We showed that video earlier to you. Michael Ruiz said sources tell him that this is connected to the same warrant that the FBI and the SWAT involvement outside of that house is connected to.
Let's show that video here.
5'6".
For those who haven't seen it. So earlier on, News Nation obtaining this exclusive video of a traffic stop that was followed by the SWAT response. So there's the traffic stop by this Culver's. You can see, we don't know if that white van is
connected in any way. We know that earlier in the week, there had been reports that they were looking for a white van involved, or maybe possibly involved. And we don't know if that was the same van. Certainly could be, matches the description that we were given earlier.
I mean, does this make me look taller?
Stand by. We'll be back in just a moment.
Does this make me look taller? I don't know, man. That sounds good to me. Yeah, I'll put the mic. Wait, no mic. Does this make me look taller? 5'6". Well, unfortunately, this is one of the mics that you have to keep up near your face, so I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to do that.
All right. And again, we're back here on stream, folks, awaiting this statement.
Every single person that uses
and
Kagan 9 reporters reported that they had seen FBI agents speaking to a man at a Culver's on First and River, I believe.
Right, so this is new, right?
Yes, that is something I just got in here.
So K-Gun 9, is that? Yeah, it's Tucson. It's the Tucson ABC affiliate, Channel 9.
Yes, reported that reporters had seen an FBI agent speaking to a man at the Culver's, which we can see on that exclusive video from News Nation. Though they said it is not confirmed whether it is related to the Guthrie case, we have seen other reports that a traffic stop, which we presume is this one, is related. Michael Ruiz from Fox News tweeting 5 minutes ago that the FBI agents were interviewing a man detained at a traffic stop, not necessarily mentioning it's the same thing, but does seem to line up. And sources told Michael Ruiz that it was connected to the same warrant. And again, now it's an hour and a half since we were told by Pima County Sheriff's Department that we would be getting a written statement forthcoming, and we are still waiting.
No, nothing.
I was about to pass out. You guys were at home.
I was literally lying in bed when you texted us.
Yep.
I was.
Yeah. We had just put my son down a short time. I was finishing up some last bites of dinner. And then all of a sudden I start to see this activity pick up. And then all of a sudden, yeah, it's into the stream center here.
But I think that points to how starved for information maybe isn't the right way to say it, but how eager everyone is for information on this.
Yeah, but people want Nancy to be found alive, and they want
look, Lisa,
an update. Okay, someone's walking over. Let's listen in here. Someone's walking over.
Stop raining, right?
It's just
Hi,
the
Mikey. How you doing, bud?
deputy moving some, trying to clear some space for some vehicles to move through. So yeah,
that actually happens when you apparently you're shrinking. You got about a cushion at the bottom of your spine that starts to deteriorate as you get older.
let us know.
Is it Saturday or is it Sunday?
Yeah, what day is it? I mean, if you're East Coast or Central Time Zone, it's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to you. If you're elsewhere in the world, it might be sun up on Valentine's Day. And for some of you, it's still Friday the 13th.
I did not even realize it was Friday the 13th yesterday.
Me neither.
I literally just learned that.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not superstitious.
Wasn't significant for you, huh?
If you're and if you use hashtag HJB with your comment, I can pull it up and we could show where people are currently waiting on an update from. And it's just to bring sort of the only reason to do this is just to let people understand as to how global this story is. So if you're watching from a long ways away and you want to share where you're watching from,
I just lost that picture.
Oh wow! So feeds are dropping.
Let me go see if I can't figure that out.
All right, yeah.
I'll be right back.
Oh, did you get that? Oh, no, I did not. No.
These dudes are like, you got us out of bed for this.
And okay, so let me explain. When photographers are at a scene like that, they're on battery power, and so they're either swapping batteries at the moment, or they're powering down because they just can't stay up forever. And Samantha says that she's watching from moving to I'm sorry, damn, this is moving fast. Daisy says watching from New Zealand, and it's 7:22 p.m. on Saturday there. Wow. I see ID in Sarasota, Florida. I see Caleb in California. Miss Gwen is watching from Australia.
Yeah,
Mama Bright watching from San Diego. We've got a
couple from Australia.
Bester Field from watching from South Africa, where it's 8:23 a.m. apparently.
We're gonna go to this real quick and then we'll go back. Yeah, Jamie Lynn. Give me a second.
We have an unofficial forensic sketch of that masked suspect that was caught on Guthrie's doorbell cam. Remember, this is one of the key pieces of evidence. I say it's unofficial because it wasn't released by authorities, but this,
I'm not even kidding. This looks exactly like my uncle.
This sketch was created by the retired Houston police forensic artist Lois Gibson. And Gibson says she studied the doorbell video of the person, relying on the eyes, the facial structure, what little could be seen to fill in the rest. She admits, look, she guessed at some features, stresses this is not an official law enforcement rendering. But listen to this. Gibson, the Guinness World Record holder for, quote, most successful forensic artist. And she says her renderings have helped police identify more than 1,300 criminals. Lois Gibson joins me right now. Thank you
the eyes are not symmetrical.
so much for coming.
He's got a wonky eye.
On. It's such a pleasure. Okay, a lot of people are listening to this and saying, how'd you come up with this?
Oh, I just did what I could do by filling in the parts that were covered by the masks. That's it. I could see the eyes, the bottom of the nose, the philtrum, the top of the lip, both lips, part of both lips, and the general outline. And I watched the guy's body move, and I got his age. I felt like his age was about 30s, early 40s.
How did you find the hair and like the parts that were covered and the structure of the head? I mean, it's not the grainiest.
Yeah, no shit. Where'd you come up with the hair
I've ever seen? It's not a faraway shot. It's better.
He's got like a little boy's haircut. I had that haircut in 3rd grade for picture day.
than we have. And there is one shot, I don't know if we can, oh, I think we have it. Maybe we could switch it up where you kind of see the eyes and the goatee, or what appears to be
He does kind of look like Cash.
facial hair. It's more significant than I've seen in other cases. But again, how did you know what the hair would look like, the ears would look like? I know you said you guessed, but how sure are you?
I didn't know. I'm doing an educated guess, but I've worked for 43 years with various grainy surveillance photos and helped find suspects. And it's an educated guess. And if I fail, I don't care. If
Oh, I'm sorry.
they can just get Nancy back, I'll be fine. I'll take the hit if I'm wrong. But I think I'm right. And I've done facial reconstructions for skulls, and I had no hair, nothing. And I've got the hair right on all the skulls except for one. So I don't know. I don't know. This is my business for 43 years. In this case is a kidnapping, and kidnapping cases are insane torture for the loved ones.
I'm really glad you mentioned that, because with all this, we sometimes get lost about what we're talking about. An 84-year-old woman who has been missing for 13 days, mobility issues.
I've never seen a Mexican dude with that haircut before.
Needs daily medication. There was blood outside the home. This is a dire situation, and you have a family who is desperately looking for answers. And each time this case goes in a 180, and there's reports, even though it's been fought back by the sheriff's office, of a lack of cooperation between the FBI and the sheriff's office, it just adds. I just have to imagine it adds to the pain for the family. So I appreciate that. I know that you created this partially just for them and to help them in
Jimmy Smith.
this case. Did you reach out to law enforcement? Have they reached out to you for your services?
Oh, no, I'm retired, and I didn't want to hear bureaucrats say no. I think you understand that. And I've helped get back 8 kidnapping victims, and I've been with the loved ones that are missing their kidnapped person. And it's insane torture. It's the worst torture. It's worse than a murder, because if it's a murder, it's peaceful. It's real sad, but you can have a funeral. But I've been with people, and it's insane, and it's unbearable, because every moment, every second, they're going, what's happening? Is my mama dying? Can I stop that? Can I stop that happening? But they don't even know. It's insane torture. So I was so frustrated. And when you're real emotional, you draw better. So I just did the best I could. And I could see the eyes, the bottom of the nose, top of the lip, the thickness of the mustache. So I replicated that with the eye. And the mustache color, I put in the eyebrows. And I put in hair because of his attitude, his body. He seemed spunky. He seemed energetic. He didn't seem down. I just didn't think he had a shaved head. I don't know. I have instincts that have paid off.
Do you know what, do you have an idea of what ethnicity he is?
No, he could be Latino, white, Lebanese, Egyptian.
Lebanese, Egyptian.
New Zealand, Irish with dark skin. Like, I'm Irish, I got dark skin. I don't know. No, I don't know. But I've had skull reconstructions where the skull is just crushed, and it was hundreds of bones. And I got that skull made so close that the mom recognized it. So you got to have a sixth sense to do it, and you got to be a masochist. I hope they catch him tonight. I hope those people they arrested are it. And if my sketch is wrong, I'll take the hit. But I had to help.
Thank you for watching.
Okay, well, that was a waste of time. Going on in life.
A feeds monitor, and I can see all the incoming feeds, right, that we need to be able to share press conferences, live cameras, whatever it may be, anything feed related. And if I see it pop up, it's right in front of me. I can tap into it in 5 seconds flat. In fact, 5 seconds would be slow.
It's called scary out.
So rest assured, if those cameras once again begin transmitting once again out to the grid, I'll be able to take it and you won't miss a thing. But right now, I'm basically saying that there's nothing going on there. They would be live for us if otherwise. Okay. So in the meantime, we have some other scene video. Okay, Samantha Ward on Facebook Live saying, "Hey JB, will the FBI also make a formal statement?" No, I don't.
You would think that the written statement would be released by the agency in charge, and that would probably be, if they're working with the FBI, that the FBI would probably advise on some of the things that would be.
Happy
included.
Valentine's.
The FBI rarely makes statements of any kind.
Yeah, I am.
Just,
too,
we talked about it earlier on today. It's just not really their how they operate. The FBI, so them being a secondary agency and basically in the capacity of assisting in the investigation, no, they're not going to be making a form. It would be highly improper for them to make a statement, given that they are not the lead agency on the case at the moment.
Yeah, the two most recent communication from the FBI, and this is the FBI Phoenix, is one about the backpack, and it was reiterating that it's increasing its reward to up to $100,000 for information. And then, as we mentioned when we had our stream a little bit earlier today, that the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office will continue to hold any individual accountable who seeks to interfere with this investigation or attempts to profit from a grieving family, alluding to a couple of other situations that they had followed up on. But again, we're closing in on the second hour of waiting for a written statement from the Pima County Sheriff's Department.
Can you guys, so let's if I can ask the two of you to stay in touch with those local stations. In times like these, when we're waiting on a statement, the local stations in particular will reach out to their sources within the local law enforcement agency to say, "Hey, is it coming soon?" And they'll usually, in previous instances of big stories like this, they'll usually get more of a heads up than a national news reporter who's really just been on the scene for the last couple of weeks versus a local news reporter.
I'm literally going to wake up in the middle of the night feeling guilty about making jokes from the Sketch Lady segment. Well, I'm not.
If they get any heads up as to when the statement might drop. But the longer this goes on without a statement being dropped, when this originally began as a press conference, now is a statement, but the statement is now, once the statement was,
we are about 10 minutes away from the 2-hour mark when they promised that we would get a forthcoming statement.
We're coming up on 2 hours since a statement was basically teased, if you will. And the fact that we don't have it yet is starting to become more and more curious as to why we don't have it. It's a statement does not take very long to form and to put out. And so, especially when you have an entire public information team dedicated to that one job, it's their job to form these statements based on what the sheriff wants to release at that point in the investigation. And also, too, they already did release something. They put down the attorney report. So clearly they have the capacity to put out something very quickly if need be, but they aren't at this point. So, right. So Elena asking the question, what do you think could be delaying the statement? There's so many different things. As to so many different.
Well, I don't know why the public needs a statement, but when they're promised one, I think then I think that they probably deserve one.
Myriad of examples as to why a statement could be delayed, and we've done this before. By the way, we have tap danced in the past, waiting for a press conference, waiting for a statement, waiting for everything from a Facebook post being put out in other cases that we've covered. Just an example, they're continuously processing the scene right now, and they want to make sure that they are doing a full and thorough canvassing of the scene before they put out a statement, so that they don't put out the statement prematurely and then make a discovery soon after that ultimately changes the equation. So. Okay, what's this?
What's what?
I'm trying to see if we can get video of the FBI speaking with a man in a Culver's parking lot that we had previously seen on reports.
Ah, got it.
JB looks a little tired.
Still looking through, trying to find anything about this written statement, but has not seen anything on it just yet.
I'm seeing unconfirmed reports regarding a Range Rover. I can't confirm that information at this time. I know that there are a lot of people who are really trying to get my attention with that one, and I cannot confirm any of that at this time.
I'm scouring X, but I
do see it, folks. I do see your comments when they come in with our hashtag system. So I do see
with our hashtag system
what's coming in. Linda, has any of the family been on scene? No, and I can almost guarantee you the reason why. If a member of the Guthrie family was at any of these scenes, it would become quite the circus from a media standpoint, given the amount of media there. Any member of the Guthrie family showing up to any of these spots, you would imagine that Savannah Guthrie would advise everybody in the family to stay tight knit as a unit and not showing up to a scene. It would, even if it wasn't the family of a national host on a network like NBC, if it was just any other, it would be highly unorthodox for a family member to just show up to one of these scenes. So, but the answer to your question, Linda, is no.
All right, so it says
what's also interesting from the standpoint, with this being a late Friday, early Saturday.
Tucson police responding to 2 fatal hit and run pedestrian accidents. 2 pedestrians were killed in separate hit and run crashes in Tucson late Friday, February 13th. The Tucson Police Department confirmed that one accident happened near Country Club and Seneca, while the other happened near Pima and Alvaron. While scenes are only 1.5 miles apart, the accidents happened around the same time. And they said that they were 2 separate incidents. The Tucson Police Department said Country Club will be closed in the area an extended period of time. Investigation continues. Alverson will not be closed. Okay, so there you go. Wild out there.
Yeah.
You killed Mike for a second.
Yep.
Both hit and runs. Both fatal. Sick shit, man. Yeah, well, unless there's somebody, unless there's a third person that did that, I don't know if that's. The van has just been stopped. Yes, 2 hit and run fatalities, and that is being reported by an actual news source. KOLD 13 News. Really? I hadn't heard.
Breaking news from the Stream Center.
No, they're both dead.
Here's no. A new report just in from local station KVOA, that's News 4 Tucson, the NBC affiliate, claiming that a neighbor spoke to the station saying that another person, after 3 people were detained, another person shot himself in the head during a SWAT operation on Friday night in Tucson, Arizona. Welcome back into the Stream Center, folks. So this is a new development coming from a local television station in Tucson, Arizona. And we have to caution you that this report is singular as of right now. And it is all based on the word of a resident in the area. Okay, so a Shadow Hills neighborhood resident spoke to News 4 Tucson. That's the NBC station in Tucson, saying that this person witnessed 3 people being detained, and then another person shot themselves in the head during a SWAT operation. And I believe that that is the extent of the information in this report. I caution our audience here that this is from one news station right now, and this is one news station taking the word of one resident. It would how do I say this?
You just reported it.
The television station is putting a lot of trust in this one person to go with this report.
Okay, so did it happen or not?
That's a pretty significant thing to report based on a singular source who ultimately is a stranger. When it comes to the semantics of how we do our job, reporting, right? You're always trying to verify things with as many people as possible, right? To not make this too complicated. You learn information and you confirm it with secondary sources. Now you can go with a singular source if you are highly confident in the origin of that information, like let's say a law enforcement agency, right? If that comes from just one entity, then you feel pretty confident that you can report that information. But when you have it from a resident who you don't know who this person is, you don't understand their credibility. We know nothing. They're not named. The report doesn't name this person. We don't know if this person is making it up or if this person is completely telling the truth. But bottom line is, this television station is putting a tremendous amount of confidence in this person's word to report out in this current news environment that a person has shot themselves in the head during the SWAT operation that unfolded here in the Shadows Hill neighborhood. But I feel like, as somebody who has done a lot of streams here in the Stream Center with a lot of breaking news situations, it would be irresponsible for me to tell our audience that this is in fact what is happening without sharing that bit of information with you, that this is based on the word of a singular resident in Shadow Hills. That's where we have it, guys.
Right. It's incredible to make the report, because the rest of the information that we have and the rest of the information that's in this report line up with what we know about what we were told by Pima County Sheriff's Department is an operation involving the Nancy Guthrie case. So it's, as you mentioned, it's just, we want to be cautious about this, because this could absolutely be a real report. It could also absolutely be something that ends up being a fabrication. We don't know.
Thank you, Kelsey. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it would be, they're an NBC station. We're an NBC station. It would be really great if we could just understand more of the process.
Thanks for covering this case, Josh Ball, as well. Thank you.
I'm trying to put myself in that news station's position, right? If it were us, I don't know if that's something our station would do. I don't know. I don't know the credibility of the person giving the information. I also don't know if they have any evidence, any proof to what has happened. but the fact that it's not outlined in the report just gives me this uneasy feeling because I'll just read the one sentence. It's a singular sentence. A Shadow Hills resident tells News 4 Tucson that she witnessed 3 people being detained and another person shot himself in the head during a SWAT operation on Friday night. That's it.
Thank you.
There isn't this person, this Shadow Hills resident shared a video with News 4 Tucson, or there isn't a secondary line in the story that says News 4 Tucson has confirmed this with the law enforcement source in the Pima County Sheriff's Department or anything like that. There's nothing else. It's just basically saying this person told us this and we're going to run with it. And so I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying you have to treat it for what it is. And what it is a singular report from a singular resident, and that there might be a reason as to why you don't see News Nation, Fox News, NBC News running with this report right now. This is an NBC affiliate. Is NBC News reporting it?
I have not seen that yet.
How the news industry works is all of these news networks, they have all their local affiliates in more than 200 markets across the country. All of these small newsrooms and medium and large size newsrooms that operate in various markets across the country, and they're in contact with their network. And so is NBC News going to now distribute that information based on what one of their affiliates is putting out there? Have you seen anything?
Not from NBC News. No. That I've seen, no. I have seen, we had talked about this earlier, not to pivot too far off of this, but there was questions from our chat asking about that SUV Range Rover. I have now seen local stations, this is from KGUN 9, saying that their FBI and Pima County sheriffs were investigating an SUV Range Rover, and they shared a video in the Culver's parking lot. So at least with that piece of information, now I am seeing video for that. As far as this report here from KVOA, this to me. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. We have an update from Pima County Sheriff's Department. Okay. They just tweeted out less than a minute ago, law enforcement activity is underway at a residence near Orange Grove Road and North First Avenue related to the Guthrie case, because this is a joint investigation at the request of the FBI. No additional information is available.
That's it?
That is what they have just stated. At the request of the FBI, no additional information is currently available.
There it is. So that's the update.
The law enforcement activity is still underway.
Can you bring that up?
Yeah, I'm pulling
Josh,
it up right now.
We'll bring that up so everybody can see it. Let me know when it's ready, and I'll punch it up.
I have to plug. I'm having computer issues at the worst time.
Oh, okay.
Screen keeps going on me for some reason.
One more time, I'll read it out. Law enforcement activity is underway.
Is underway is the key phrase here.
At a residence near East Orange Grove Road and North First Avenue related to the Guthrie case. Because this is a joint investigation at the request of the FBI, no additional information is currently available.
Earlier in the stream, we had speculated that they were on the tail end of the activity, and that seems to be inaccurate, to say the least. They are still actively on scene.
So law enforcement activity is underway. It is the first 5 words of this post, and I'm just gonna say my gut reaction out loud, because that's what I do on stream, and people know that I don't hold back. We know that,
right? Yeah.
we the world already knows that law enforcement activity is underway at this time. You've got tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people right now watching live coverage because we know that law enforcement activity is underway. This is a nothing update. It's nothing. And so but the most loud thing in this statement, without a doubt, is the words "at the request of the FBI," given what has transpired in the last 48
Shut
hours.
up. So weird.
So the FBI is saying, don't release anymore.
I'll giggle at whatever I want.
And just to remind everybody, that a couple of hours ago, 2 hours ago, we were expecting a press conference. The PIO for Pima County was on the way to the scene to supposedly talk to the media. And then fairly abruptly after that, we got that statement that it was going to be a written statement instead. And then 2 hours later, we are now being told that at the request of the FBI, we are not going to get any additional information.
And also, whoever said it was a joint investigation?
Later, Matt.
That's news.
If you want to see that map, we do have it ready as well.
Has anyone seen any report claiming that this is now a joint investigation? A joint investigation to me is that the two teams are running point together.
This is crazy.
It's a little different than...
Yeah, the dynamic is shifting. Because at one point it was even President Trump commenting. What was the comment earlier that basically indicated that
they don't want to give it up?
They didn't want to give up control of the investigation.
They didn't want to give it up.
But now the Pima County Sheriff's Office is saying that it is a joint investigation. So are they together, or is one agency assisting the other? Because there's a lot of mixed signals here as to who's in charge. Because now this statement reads to me that we were in charge, but now the FBI is requesting
JLR just...
You don't give up any more information. A joint investigation.
The feds towing a Range Rover.
That we put out to the world as to why we don't have any other information on a situation that we know that basically the entire country has been following over the last several hours. So I understand there being caution with divulging information. I understand from a public information standpoint that they have an extremely difficult job to do when it comes to withholding information and also making sure that they're keeping the public, up to date with what is happening. But at the same time, there's just so many mixed signals coming out regarding from a law enforcement aspect here. It's so difficult for us to ascertain as to what is exactly going on.
I mean, I don't know about you guys. I was expecting, a press release, like an image with the Sheriff's County logo.
Yeah, I was expecting a tweet.
You thought a tweet?
Yeah, I thought a one sentence, maybe if we were lucky, 2 to 3 sentence tweet.
I'd also like to just say KVOA.
Yeah.
We talked about that report a second ago. Tweeted about 5 minutes ago as an add-on, according to an unconfirmed report by a neighbor. They are now adding unconfirmed report to their earlier report regarding the person who allegedly witnessed one person shot themselves.
All right, so this is how they've reworded that. I'll read it until the entire thing. A Shadow Hills resident tells News 4 Tucson that she witnessed 3 people being detained during a SWAT operation on Friday night. According to an unconfirmed report by a neighbor, another person shot himself in the head. So they're shifting things there. And so, again, there's a reason why there's one news station reporting this right now. Whether or not it's accurate, time will tell. We will find out, I'm sure, as the situation develops and as the hours proceed. But back to the statement. Yeah. Hashtag. Yeah, I know what. Apparently, our mics are a bit staticky. Apologies if we're having some audio problems.
I thought that was me, but it's not.
And so to BM, the FBI won't release a statement, JB, 30 minutes ago. No, yeah, and they still haven't released a statement. Right? The FBI hasn't put out anything.
I think I think that's correct. So the FBI is the reason that there's not a statement released.
So to this person who's, claiming that I was wrong, no, I am not wrong. The FBI didn't release a statement. They're the ones saying, they're the ones pulling back the Pima County Sheriff's Department.
The tweet says, at the request of the FBI, no additional information
Oh,
is
no.
currently available.
And I just checked FBI Phoenix, which is where everything about this specifically has been coming from. Zero activity on the Twitter or X, excuse me.
All right, folks. We are going to be wrapping up here soon. This is a last call for questions and comments as we come up to 2 a.m. I mean, that was the update that we were all anticipating, and it turned out to be
an update that there's not going to be an update.
An update that there's no update.
The thing that's interesting to me, and maybe JB having more experience and stuff like this, you can clarify why I might be saying this. I took what they gave us here, and it is different than the reported road that was blocked off. It is just a different, it's not far from it. It's in the same vicinity, but the map,
take care of it.
It's not the same spot.
Wait, I'm sorry. Say that again, Josh.
Yeah, Josh.
So the reported location that comes from the tweet from the Pima County Sheriff's Department is not, it's down the street, but it's just not the exact area in which we got the reported block off.
Enton hasn't said a word in an hour.
Right.
The last thing he said was just got moved out of the perimeter after a ton of FBI.
Yeah, no, we have it. I have
it. Okay,
yeah.
So let's bring that up real quick.
Yeah, he's pissed.
Okay, so what's this pin?
This right here is the pinned intersection that they claim
that they claim in the tweet.
Correct. This area down here, and I'll bring it up specifically here so you get closer. This little cul-de-sac area. There's a stop sign here. This is what was reported. This little junction is what was shut down.
Right. So the tweet says law enforcement activity underway at a residence near East Orange Grove Road and North First Avenue. And you know what? Their tweet is accurate. So perhaps they're not divulging the exact location because of the obviously tremendous amount of media attention and tremendous amount of public fascination with this case. I wouldn't read too much into it, Josh. I mean, just because it's close enough.
Yeah.
You know, it is technically the main cross street for that area.
Yeah. Just the tweet earlier, they were talking about the rumors regarding whose house it might belong to. So I think clearly they're just trying to keep things a bit vague. They know that the attention that this story is getting, you know, people are going to dissect every shred of information that comes out.
Oh. We know.
Tip says the FBI first have to redact everything. That takes time. The world knows that. That's not. They're not redacting documents. They're not redacting information. That's not how this works. There's a process for sharing information, and that's done verbally. That's not, the redactions are going to be something that's done for months, if not years after this all concludes. But no, I mean, that's not what's going on right now. That there isn't somebody in an FBI office going through documents.
I cannot confirm, or I have no idea. I know that people are saying that they saw something that Dolly witnessed. I don't know. That one news station's reporting it from one witness. I have no idea. So, you know, do with that what you want.
I and Pima County Sheriff's investigating an SUV Range Rover. Again, this is at the Culver's parking lot. This is the same parking lot where our News Nation footage of the traffic stop came. So you would think that they might be in some way connected, but that is what I'm seeing online. I'm seeing there is a Range Rover in the videos.
Yeah, and maybe folks.
And I would love a burger.
A little tired after a long day. There are people that are saying that was a joke, based on other stories where the FBI has been redacting a lot of information. Call that one that maybe went right over my head just because of how late it is.
It's 2 a.m. right here. We've streamed earlier, like a 3-ish hours.
We came in at 9 a.m. Yeah.
And now we're on 3 hours of this as well. We've done a lot.
Perhaps a good opportunity for us to wrap
Well, it says that
the live stream here, folks. We appreciate everybody being here with us.
JLR is on the scene and is reporting that they towed a Range Rover.
I'd like to thank our two stream producers here, Josh Scott and Garrett Phillips.
Yeah,
we will be back on this story. It's just a matter of when and what obviously this all looks like in the hours and days ahead. Any final thoughts before we wrap up, you guys?
Personally, the only thing that comes to mind is that I can imagine that a lot of people, and we saw this when we were doing our streams, really all this week and all last week, a lot of people have been frustrated with the way, especially the way that information has been given out throughout this process.
You know,
I don't imagine that tonight is going to make that frustration go away.
I wish I could summarize it, and I will try to summarize it for you. So there've been heavy activity from law enforcement, SWAT, sheriff, PD, 2 people, possibly 3 people detained. And then there was supposed to be a press conference. Then there was no press conference. Then there was supposed to be a statement from the Pima County Sheriff's Office. And the statement was that the FBI is underway. I don't know, man. I shouldn't be giggling.
So I think it's important, as with anything, just to have that perspective and remember that here as we go forward with the story.
And I'm going to end out the stream by echoing something that I talk about a lot on stream. Please be mindful. Please be mindful of just how powerful it is when you share out information with others. There is a tremendous amount of reckless reporting going on. I don't even know if you want to use the word reporting, but sharing of information, and the process in which this information is distributed is just likely for clicks and just likely for attention seeking.
Stop.
We are here at a news organization
there's no statement
where we have to uphold a certain standard, and we're going to share news based on our craft and working on our craft or honing our craft to understand which information we can share and which information that we can't, and which information is appropriate to share and which information is dangerous to share because it hasn't been vetted and hasn't been put through the paces. There are so many people out there on the internet that don't care about that process. All they want to do is just farm your clicks. That's all they want. They want to increase their view count and just watch the dollars pour in. And for us, we uphold a standard here that is extraordinarily important to us. It's, as cheesy as it might sound, it's sacred to us to be able to do this job, sharing information that we are confident in. And when we have information like the one report from earlier that we want to share because it's out there from a reputable source, but we even have to caution you that there might not be the level of confidence that we would have in that report that they have. There's bottom line is that please be careful with what you share, because every time something is retweeted, reposted, shared in any way, shape, or form, it's adding to the credibility of that report, because more people will believe it's true if more people are sharing it. It's a long way of saying, please be careful what you believe on the internet, because anything could be mistaken for the truth, especially in the world that we live in now, where AI is just a tap away, and it's so easy to fabricate information, visuals, and a narrative that could spread like wildfire on the internet. So be careful out there, folks. We'll continue to keep you posted as this story develops here in the Stream Center. Once again, a big thank you to stream producers Josh Scott and Garrett Phillips. From the Stream Center, we are saying good night. And for those of you in the Eastern and Central time zones, a happy Valentine's Day to you. For those of you in other time zones, a happy Valentine's Day to be. We hope that everybody treats everybody out there with love and kindness, and we hope to have we can only hope favorable news in this story to share in the hours and days ahead.
Wow.
Thanks so much for joining us from the Stream Center. We'll see you soon.
Well, let me see here. Is JLR still out there? Good Lord, he really is. John. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think anything's going to happen tonight. Sort of like came on was it that there was going to be a press conference, and they went from no press conference to a written statement. Then the written statement was the FBI is currently underway. Yes, there is no press conference. Sounds like they're working, which is a good thing.
Thank you very much.
Need a New Jersey Devils hat? I don't even like hockey. It sounds like the Range Rover that they were looking at has been towed. I have Inton up on my phone, but I don't see anything. No. We were all waiting for a written statement. The written statement was Inton hasn't tweeted in at least an hour. Two hours. He hasn't tweeted anything in 2 hours. But his last two tweets were appears 2 individuals were taken out of the house for SWAT operations. SWAT operations is happening. I'm told a nearby traffic stop is also connected. I'm outside the house. And law enforcement is active. Law enforcement activity is underway at the residence near Orange Grove Road and in First Avenue related to the Guthrie case. Because this is a joint investigation at the request of the FBI, no additional information is currently available. So they're saying, it sounds like they're saying that if it were up to them, this is just how I'm interpreting it, that if it were up to them, there would be information, but the FBI is asking them not to release any information. So let me read that one more time. Law enforcement activity is underway at the residence near Orange Grove Road, so East Orange Grove, and North First Street Avenue related to the Guthrie case. Because this is a joint investigation at the request of the FBI, no additional information is currently available. And then an hour before that, or 2 hours before that, there is no press briefing scheduled for tonight regarding the Nancy Guthrie investigation. A written statement is forthcoming, which we never actually got a formal written statement, but then it was reporting that current law enforcement activity surrounding a home belonging to a former county attorney is not accurate. And once again, the statement is law enforcement activity is underway at the residence of East Orange Grove Road and North First Avenue related to the Guthrie case. Because this is a joint investigation at the request of the FBI, no available information is currently available. Go to Fox 10 Phoenix. The hell do they have? But it looks like they're not even saying anything. It's just that's the Range Rover in question. What the hell just happened there? So this is the Range Rover in question. It's just it's a Range Rover that the I am. That's exactly where I'm at. They were talking about a gray. I think it was first reported as a gray truck, and now it is. I mean, I guess, It's an SUV. No. It's not that nobody thinks they're spreading rumors. I'm just saying that like it hasn't been confirmed that it was somebody took their own life. I'm not saying that they didn't see a dead body, but I'm saying that it's just weird that more news stations wouldn't be covering the hell out of that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that anybody's spreading rumors. And I'm not calling anybody a liar. I'm not doing any of that. I didn't see anything. The stream's not up anymore. There's really nothing I can do about that. I don't know what to say about it. Okay, but it's still not being reported by anybody else. Now, what was reported by a news agency is that there were two separate hit and runs, both fatal. And that has been reported. Hit and run fatalities. That's confirmed. Okay, but what I'm asking, Eve, did you actually see somebody put one in their own head? That's my question. That's my question. Did anybody witness that? Or was it just a body on the ground? Because it could have been somebody that just got hit by that car. That's what I'm saying. So nobody saw that, right? I think Tucson does have a pretty high crime rate. Let's see. Lab, just in your opinion, do you think Annie was involved? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they keep searching her house. It's possible. It's possible. Well, they keep searching her house. So it's possible that I mean, look, I don't know. I did not know that, but it says, did you know that Tucson is as big as Rhode Island and Connecticut put together? I didn't know that. Eric says, I don't think this is a nothing burger, but right now we have nothing as far confirmed information. That's correct. Yeah. But the only thing that I would be, I'm not saying that he didn't see what he saw. There's been reports that 2 people were ran over tonight, both killed in the area. And I'm not disputing that, but I can't tell. I can't tell you that I know that it's being reported by anybody else. That's. I mean, if this is somebody like, don't you think that would be like an enormous story right now? Right now, and that this channel would be covering it as well. But right now they're just covering the gray car or whatever. That's it. That's all I can tell you. I'm not disputing you with you that it didn't happen. I just can't say because I don't know. And if you didn't see it happen, then you don't know what happened. I'm not, and that's the thing. I'm not saying that I don't believe. I just don't. Things get skewered and I don't know. In my experience, which isn't much, but I would think that it would. I mean, somebody getting pulled over by SWAT regarding the Annie Guthrie, excuse me, regarding the Nancy Guthrie case and taking their own life. Skewed. Did I say skewered? Like a shish kebab. Yeah. That's it. That's all I was saying. Now I'm gonna go dream of a hamburger and not eat one. And I just find it curious that that there were 2 people that were ran over tonight in that same vicinity, very close to each other, both dead, but nothing about a person that took their own life. That's it. And moral come out. That's all I'm saying. That's how I feel. So other than that, I don't know. And what the hell's in the back of that car? They're so good. Fruit roll-ups are so good. I personally think that if somebody took their own life while they were being chased by SWAT in regards to the Nancy Guthrie investigation, that it would probably have been reported by now, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, but we've already heard the KVOA. 3 suspects detained, 1 dead, according to Shah. But that's just according to a neighbor. And only one. Yeah, we heard that earlier. And then they're walking back that statement. You said Brian Enton did what? Like on News Nation, Eve? Let me see. Hold on. I'll play News Nation clips really quick. See, like none of this though is said SWAT operations. Did we see this one already? I don't know if we saw this one already. It's hard to say.
Law enforcement presence at the house right now, Jesse. There were
So-
already a ton of deputies and SWAT vehicles. And then, as you mentioned, we saw just a huge contingent of FBI agents arrive, at least 10 cars, and what looked like sort of an evidence unit that arrived maybe a half an hour ago. I'll step out of the way and show you. This is as close as we can get right now. You can't really see down the street where all the activity is. That deputy that you see there in the distance is blocking the street, but it's about 5 or 6 houses down where we know this SWAT operation happened, and where I'm told there is also a search warrant that is being executed right now. What I am being told is that when they went to this house initially, they pulled out a man and a woman, possibly a mother and a son, I'm being told. They came out willingly. So there was no need for any sort of force or flashbangs. It was very, very quiet. We were right down the street when it happened, and we didn't hear pretty much anything. It was quiet because they came out willingly, I am told, and were detained. And at the same time, interestingly, there was another male detained not far from here during a traffic stop that I am told is related. Whether that person also lives in the house, that's what I'm hearing. I haven't been able to fully confirm that yet. But there was another man detained in a traffic stop close by, and I'm told that person was going to get food and it happened near a Culver's restaurant where that person was detained. How all of this connects back to the Nancy Guthrie investigation, we don't know, but we do know that this is part of the Nancy Guthrie investigation, and it is somehow connected. They're questioning these people right now. Is this going to turn into something, or is this going to be similar to what we saw several nights ago near the Mexico border when that other man, Carlos, was detained and then they ended up letting him go? We just don't know at this point, Jesse.
And you were told that this operation is going to last quite a while. I mean, what can we expect tomorrow with this?
Yeah, I mean, based on what I'm seeing, I don't get the sense that anybody's going to be leaving anytime soon. And when we were inside the perimeter closer, when we finally got kicked out, they came up to us and said, you guys have to go and we're going to be here pretty much. And I said, how long? And he goes, pretty much all night, which is sort of the sense that I'm getting to, that they're at least going to be there for several hours longer, especially since we just saw all of those additional FBI teams roll in.
Collecting, processing evidence, maybe doing interviews of neighbors. I mean, we played an interview that was you guys did on the ground with someone there. I have to tell you, Brian, I'm wondering what's leading them there. Today was a very interesting day when they talk about the collection of DNA. And I'll just go back to that for a second. I mean, you've been covering this from the beginning. Do you think there was something that led them there, whether it's the surveillance footage, whether it's the idea of collecting DNA, the gloves? Now there's been potential identifications of the clothing worn by the suspect. What's your gut telling you about what might have led them there? Because it seemed like, my guests have been saying, it looks like they were under surveillance for a little bit.
Yeah, it's my understanding that someone in the home was under surveillance, and I was getting, indications from my sources really starting in the late afternoon that something might be going down tonight. And then we reported when the SWAT team was staging. They staged at 2 different locations that we were at. They were all gathering together, and you got the sense that they were getting ready to do something. Granted, we've seen them do that other nights, and nothing has transpired, so we weren't really sure which way it was going to go tonight. And then, lo and behold, they staged at one location. They moved to a different location very close to the house, and then they moved in on the house pretty much at the same time that we know they moved in on that traffic stop, Jesse. Whether it has anything to do with the announcement by the sheriff that DNA was found inside the home, my sense is it doesn't. That this was someone who is probably already on their radar and under surveillance, but we're just going to have to wait and see.
Any idea of identities of these people?
No, we don't have names. We don't have identities. We don't, looks like there's someone else coming out here. So let me step out of the way. You can see who this is. But
I have not seen a watch them tape up the land. So I can show you the Land Rover right here. This is live, I believe. I think it's live. Yeah, it's live. Oh, we saw, we watched, we saw and we watched. I'm hungry. There's the tow. Now they're towing the thing. Okay, we'll stick with it until they tow this thing away. Might as well, right? Holy crap. Here's the tow. Here's the tow. One thing we learned, I'm 5'6". 5'6". 5'6". Here's the tow truck. Good morning. Are you really cooking a burger? Oh, man. There's no way for me to prove it to you, so I don't really care. No, I'm not 5'6". What is that? Yeah, I could go for a snack. I haven't eaten in 4 days. I'm hungry. They're just covering up. No, I think they're just covering up the license plate, probably. Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. I think Dr. B said he was 5'8", which is a lot closer to 5'6" than .6. How long is it going to take him to tow this thing away? .5'9", excuse me. Yeah, I'm 6'2". Yeah, I have a son that's 6'6" and a son that's 6'9". Fasting for Lent, huh? My sons are enormous. My youngest son is like probably one of the biggest humans I've ever been around. He's absolutely massive. That's amazing. She's 6'1", and I'm 6'2". My sons are 22 and 20. 22 and 20. Yeah, they ate an astronomical amount. An astronomical amount. Five, 6. Who was it that said that? He said, I've been watching you for years. I've always thought you were short. I've heard that before. I have no idea where that comes from. Basketball and baseball, actually, but mostly basketball. Very good basketball players, too. It's the mic. I know. I look taller this way. Here we go. How's this? How's my torso? Good. Good torso. Yeah, they can both dunk. No football. My son my oldest son has epilepsy. So we weren't going to do anything baseball related or football related. No, I actually don't care, but I just think it's funny. I like how they focus right in on it. Let's take a look at this and see what's going on. Oof, evidence tag. So they did tape that bitch up, huh? Well, it looks like they're making some progress in the case. I know it's probably not at the speed of light like we would all want, but do I still look tall? It's a nice car. God, that's a great question. Yeah, those are that's a dealer plate that's on there. Temporary tag for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't know why. What's up, Rochelle? Good to see you. Whoa. Well, there goes the axle. I don't know. There must be something. There must be something in there that they want to take a look at. So this is that we know of the second vehicle that has been. Yeah, sorry. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. This is it'd be interesting to know what they get out of this car. You've missed well, it's weird because you've missed a lot, but you haven't missed anything. If that makes any sense. I don't think it does, but there was supposed to be a news conference because there was SWAT activity. I can read it one more time while we're waiting for this. There was supposed to be a news conference, and then there was no news conference, and then Pima County sheriffs said there is no press conference. There is no press briefing scheduled for tonight regarding the Nancy Guthrie investigation. a written statement is forthcoming. So we're like, okay, well, now we got a written statement coming. It's cool, right? We're great. This was the written statement. Law enforcement activity is underway at the residence near East Orange Grove and North First Avenue related to the Guthrie case, because this is a joint investigation at the request of the FBI. No additional information is currently available. So that was it. 2 people detained, or two people detained, possibly a third with the mother, possibly somebody took their own life, but we don't know that yet. And 2 people got ran over in the area as well. And they died, unfortunately. That's the big question. That is 3 guys and a mom. I mean, it would be fitting for this case, wouldn't it? Thank you, Jana. I appreciate that very much. What do I mean? I don't know. I said a lot of stuff. It doesn't look like it's in neutral at all. Oh, man. Yikes. It's a nice car, man. No, it just it was just being drug up on the back of that thing. Yeah, get out of the way. He seemed nice. Yeah, dude, no Vaseline, bro. That's rough. You didn't miss anything, but you missed a lot. That's true. That should have been the title of the show. I mean, I've enjoyed discussing this with you guys. There's no doubt about that. So this was a traffic stop that they were at a house and and this traffic stop. So there are people detained. I mean, 3 detained, 4. This could be the 4th. Oh God, really? If you rewind 3 minutes, I went over the whole thing. I swear to God, that I don't. I don't know if I have another one in me, to be honest. I could try. One more time before we're at the 3-hour mark here. Okay, now listen. This is it. Lest anybody not hear it. Here we go. Law enforcement. Okay, God, hold on. Let me bring it up because I don't even want. Law enforcement activity is underway at a residence. This is just an hour ago. Near East Orange Grove Road and North First Avenue related to the Guthrie case, because this is a joint investigation at the request of the Federal Bureau of Investigations, also known as the FBI. No additional information is currently available. But there was supposed to be a press briefing, but there was no press briefing. because they said there was going to be a press briefing, but then they came out and said there is no press briefing scheduled tonight regarding the Nancy Guthrie investigation. I have a feeling, and this is just my feeling, that Pima County, they were going to do something and the FBI asked them not to. I seem hangry? Whatever. Yes, the operation has been taken just a little less than 2 miles from where from Nancy's home. And the statement wasn't really a statement. Also, 2 people ran over and killed in 2 separate non-related hit and run accidents. And Macho has to piss. Come on, drive this thing away. We gotta finish it out. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I saw the sign. Okay, there it goes. Oh, Culver's, what I would give. It was like they were like a mile and a half apart, I think. Yeah. Sometimes. Oh, that looks good. Nah. I ate dinner earlier. Well, there it is. I know he was waiting. Yay, bye. And Jan, thank you again. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. That's right. Didn't miss anything. All right. Thank you to all 2,300 people that are here watching. I appreciate it very much. I mean, tomorrow's Saturday night, so I figure I don't know. I don't know if we'll be covering this. Probably, if just depending on the developments. The fur babies are good. I think Macho. Come here. Hold on. Come here. Come here. Come here. You guys want to say hi, Macho? You fat little. Hold on. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi. He says, "Oh, just hold. He just wants to be held." New sub. All right. Appreciate that. He's tired. He's had a long day. Have you had a long day, buddy? Have you had a long day? He likes when I burp him. I'll talk to Gary. He's massive. He's as tall as I am. He's 5'6". Okay. All right. 5'6". Oh my God. You guys have a good night. Thank you for being here. Yeah, Frenchie.